Close your eyes and think of me. Soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. Just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. If the sky above you should turn dark and full of cloud, and that old north wind should begin to blow, keep your head together, call my name out loud. Soon you'll hear me knocking on your door. Just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? People can be so cold, they hurt you and desert you, they take your soul if you let them go. Don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call. Be there, yes, I will. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? It's a lesson too late for the learning, made of sand, made of sand. In the wink of an eye, my soul is turning in your hand. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. You have reasons in plenty for going. This I know, this I know. For the weeds have been steadily growing. Please don't go, please don't go. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? I could have loved you better than me, to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Yes, you know that was the last thing on my mind. I am a handsome policeman, I am bold and versatile. My wife is white and beautiful with breasts of alabaster. When I hurry home to her, she whispers with a smile, "What did you do today, my big blue hero?" There was only a gypsy, a raggy, shaggy blackguard of a diddy-kai, up to no good. I did what I could, a little physical persuasion, and he passed on by. Now I grow impatient to enjoy her juicy beauty. I search for the rising rhythm of those breasts of alabaster. But no, she cries, "Please tell me what you did today on duty. Tell me more about the hairy gypsy." There was only a gypsy, a raggy, shaggy blackguard of a diddy-car, up to no good. I did what I could, a little physical persuasion, and he passed on by. Tell me, pretty darling, will you tell me in your turn, who placed those fresh wild flowers in your breasts of alabaster? And when you smile, still wedged between your teeth, do I discern a sprig of whisker from another's moustache? It was only a gypsy, she sighed, a raggy, shaggy blackguard of a diddy-car, up to no good. I did what I could, a little physical persuasion, and he passed on by. It was only a gypsy boy, a raggy, shaggy blackguard of a diddy-car, up to no good. I did what I could, a little physical persuasion, and he passed on by. Between her breasts a hedgerow nosegay, in between her teeth a telltale whisker. The house is full of clothes pegs. There once was an old captain who wished nothing more than to live again his voyages and walk by the seashore. A simple man and a good man, but the bane of his life was his ill-tempered, bad-hearted bitch of a wife. Though the jolly captain was plagued by her bile, he smoked his long pipe and he smiled upon her tenderly. He didn't like her much, but he loved her, despite her rough tongue. The whey-faced old nagbag had been his pretty darling once. She fell down her staircase, she fractured her neck. She lay upon the linoleum in a black apoplexy. Her baleful eyes spoke with unspeakable abuse. It seems that her spleen had been overproduced. So the jolly captain carried her to bed. "Close your wild eyes," he said, "sleep a little peaceably." He bought her fresh butter, cool watercress, violet and peppermint to soothe her heart's bitterness. From her deathbed she said, "If you marry when I die, I'll crawl from my coffin and haunt you vexatiously." With a snarl and a howl, with a shiver and a shake, she spat out her peppermint and went to vex her maker. Unhappy captain, so sad when she died. He closed her wild eyes and he cried a bit on the Friday, but he saw no good reason for wasting away, so he married an apple-cheeked girl on the Saturday. Alas, jolly captain, you're married too soon. She'll come to torment you from underneath her tombstone. She'll scratch and she'll clap her way back from the grave, hacking her way back again with furious fingernails. No, said the jolly captain, she'll stay in her place. She can scratch, she can scrape till she's black in the face. No, she won't come to haunt me, or haunt me, I know. I buried her face downward, she's a long way to go. No, she won't come to haunt me or taunt me, I know, 'cause I buried her face downward, she's a long way to go. She was a widow in Bridlington, she was the widow of Brid. Small and bony at 42, with eyes of very unsettling blue. And what she thought she ought to do, she did. Whatever she thought she ought to do, she did, the widow of Brid. My only darling's dead he is, and all my children grow. The house has emptied, all the lovebirds flown. In place of widow's weeds, I'll let my coal-black hair grow long, as glossy as a blackbird's wing, as cocky as his song. She found that she could please herself, she could the widow of Brid. Swim in the sea when she felt hot, stay in bed when she did not. And she began to laugh a lot, she did. To sing and dance and laugh a lot, she did the widow of Brid. And sometimes she would drop the shopping, leave the bed unmade, and sit till evening on the esplanade. She'd sometimes go to church and call on Jesus by his name. She fared as any blackbird would whenever hunger came. She learned to play the violin, she did the widow of Brid. And Saturday night in the drinking shop, she'd jump upon the countertop, fiddle till the dancers dropped, she did. Stomping on the copper top, she did the widow of Brid. And she was fond of fishing boats and all the beardy crew, and partial to a salty kiss or two. Some of them would gruffly whisper, marry me and stay. The blackbirds do their singing from a different bush each day. She had a massive motorbike, she had the widow of Brid, and so she could, when so she wished, ride back home early morning-ish, with her hair in the air and smelling of fish. She did. And every time of a different fish, she did the widow of Brid. Though she did no harm, the neighbours sniffed as neighbours do, and day by day a cankerous rancor blew. And many a pair of front room curtains twitched and shook with rage, for she was wild as blackbirds are. They were in a cage. They came and broke her window panes, they did of the widow of Brid. Spat upon her cycle shed, dragged her out of a Sunday bed. They cropped the hair and shaved the head, they did. They cropped the hair and shaved the head, they did of the widow of Brid. When her cries and hiccups stopped, she tidied everywhere. She cleaned the shed, she swept up all the hair. Some few of them came back in shame to ask her would she stay. But if you ever startle blackbirds, blackbirds fly away. She sold up house and walked a week did the widow of Brid. And unrepenting, undeterred, she thundered off to cause a stir in poor old bloody Scarborough. She did. Forget the spit on the window pane, bugger Brid, I'm still the same. My hair will always grow again, it did. My hair will always grow again, it did. To the widow of Brid.
Is your car behind the monster?
Yes.
Mum's got to move past, so you might have to.
Okay.
You might have to, I don't know yet.
Just need a quick slurp of moisture at this point. There's the beer over there. Well, these are all for Johnny, really, because Johnny likes Jake Thackery songs. I thought, bring this over and do a few of those. Right, I'll do one more. One more, then I'll go. Is that okay?
Should I get a long one? Yeah.
Here we go then, the last one.
Switch on. Go for it.
These are basically Jake Thackery songs. You've heard of him, obviously. If you haven't, you have now. That's the kind of songs he did. This is the next one, the last one, the very end. This actually happened in a village. No, shall I do this one? Perhaps tonight. I'll do another one. I'll do this one. I'll do this one. This is a song about a bantam cock in a farmyard. Do you know that song? Does anybody not know the song about the bantam cock in a farmyard? Anybody not know it? Oh, good. Right. So, for sake of educational reasons, I will play it to you tonight. And everybody who knows it, then you know it anyway. I'll remind you of it. Imagine the bantam cock going like that. It was a grand start again. It was a grand upstanding bantam cock, so brisk and stiff and spry, with springy step and jaunty bloom, and a purposeful look in his eye. In his little black winking eye he had. I took him to the coop and introduced him to me 17 wide-eyed hens. He upped and he topped as a hero tops, and he bowed from the waist to them all, and then he upped and he topped them all again, he did. And then upon the piece of me ducks and me geese he rudely did intrude. With glazed eyes and open mouths they bore it all with fortitude, and a little bit of gratitude they did. He ravished my fantail pigeons and me lily-white columbines, and while I was locking up me budgerigar he jumped my parrot from behind. She was sitting on my shoulder at the time. Then, all of a sudden, with a gasp and a gulp, he clapped his hands to his head. Lay flat on me back with his toes in the air, me bantam cock lay dead, and the vultures circled overhead they did. What a noble brute, what a fine young cock, what a way to live and to die. I was digging him a grave to save his bones from the hungry buzzards in the sky, when the bantam opened up a sly little eye. Gave me a wink and a terrible grin, the way that rapists do. He said, you see them big daft buzzards up there? They'll be down in a minute or two. They'll be down in a minute or two.